Good day, everyone. Today we are gathered here to discuss a pressing issue in the Philippines, the social inequality and poverty, particularly in the context of education. Social inequality in education means some kids have a better chance to succeed than others, often due to where they born or their family's income. It's like some students have all the tools for success, while others struggle to find the basics. Poverty in education is when kids lack resources like food, quiet study spaces, or school supplies, putting them at a disadvantage from the start. In short, social inequality and poverty create an unfair obstacles that make it harder for some kids to get a good education. Every child should have a fair chance to learn and succeed regardless of their background. These challenges posed by globalization is to examine how access to equality education and economic opportunities are distributed across different regions and social classes. Our goal is to identify the strategies and solutions to ensure that every Filipino has equitable access to education and the opportunity to in the increasingly interconnected world. As education widely recognized as a key driver of social mobility and economic development, addressing disparities in educational access and outcomes is for tackling poverty and social inequality, fostering inclusive growth. Today, we are gathered to engage with representatives from key institutions, from DepEd, NEDA, and PIDS. So I will be the representative of NEDA to discuss how globalization's impact education and poverty in the Philippines and how we can collectively work towards solutions. Let me call on the representative of the Department of Education, Ms. Jheleanna Basalo.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today. I am Maria Helena Basalo and I am DepEd's representative for today's agenda. I am delighted that I was invited to this meeting in order to discuss these very important issues to create better solutions for education, for the students also.
It's nice to meet you, Miss Basalo. So may I ask you some questions that related to our issue that we are tackling today. So first question, how has globalization impacted access to quality education across different regions and social classes in the Philippines?
Well, globalization has widened the gap in access to quality education, with rural and marginalized communities facing significant challenges in accessing resources and opportunities compared to urban areas and more affluent households. So, DepEd, through various programs and initiatives, aims to address these disparities by prioritizing underserved regions and implementing inclusive policies to ensure equitable access to education for all Filipino families and students, or learners rather.
So thank you, Ms. Helena. So I have here the second question. How is DepEd addressing the digital divide and more ensuring equitable access to technology in schools?
DepEd shoulders the responsibility of ensuring equitable access to quality education for all Filipinos, irrespective of their socio-economic backgrounds. This involves formulating education policies that prioritize inclusivity and relevance, allocating resources efficiently to address disparities in educational access, and developing curricula that would cater to the diverse needs of learners. Additionally, DepEd is tasked with providing continuous professional development opportunities for teachers to enhance their skills and support students effectively. Through monitoring and evaluation mechanisms, DepEd assesses the implementation of education policies and programs, making necessary adjustments to address emerging challenges and ensure progress towards educational equity and excellence.
How has NEDA incorporated considerations of education, equity, and poverty reduction related to globalization?
Yes, NEDA integrates considerations of education, equity, and poverty reduction into its policies by prioritizing investments in education and human capital development. Through evidence-based planning and policy formulation, we aim to address the structural barriers that hinder inclusive growth and promote social equity in the context of globalization.
Does NEDA track the impact of globalization on job markets and how it affects education and skills needs?
NEDA closely monitors the impact globalization on job markets and analyzes its implication for education and skills development. By understanding the evolving demands of the labor market, NEDA strives to align education and training programs with industry needs, ensuring that Filipino workers are equipped with relevant skills to thrive in a globalized economy. So let me call on the second representative from the key institution, the PIDS Philippine Institute for Development Studies, Ms. Kristel Montebon.
Good morning, my name is Kristel from PIDS, or also known as Philippine Institute for Development Studies.
Kristel, so I have here the questions regarding to your institution. So first, can PIDS share any recent research on the social impacts of globalization on education and poverty in the Philippines?
We conduct extensive research on the social impacts of globalization on education and poverty in the Philippines, providing valuable insights for policymakers and as well as we have the stakeholders. So our recent studies have highlighted the importance of investing in education and social protection programs to mitigate the adverse effects of globalization on vulnerable population, specifically in education.
Thank you, Miss. So for your second question, based on your research, what policy recommendations does PIDS have to address education disparities and ensure inclusive economic growth?
Based on its research findings, we offer policy recommendations to address education disparities and promote inclusive economic growth. So these recommendations include expanding access to quality education, strengthening social safety nets, and enhancing labor market policies to create opportunities for all segments of society. Yes.
So may I call on again Ms. Basalo? I have another question. What are the biggest challenges in addressing disparities in education and poverty related to globalization?
Addressing disparities in education and poverty exacerbated by globalization presents several challenges in the Philippines. Firstly, inadequate infrastructure and resource allocation hinder efforts to provide quality education to all, particularly in remote and underserved areas. Additionally, Socioeconomic disparities exacerbated by globalization perpetuate inequalities in access to educational opportunities and resources. Moreover, the rapid pace of technological advancement creates a digital divide, further marginalizing disadvantaged communities who lack access to digital tools and skills. Tackling these challenges requires comprehensive strategies that address structural inequalities, enhance resource distribution, and foster inclusive development.
What are the specific rules and responsibilities of each organization in tackling these issues?
Yes, NEDA integrates considerations of education equity and poverty reduction into its policies by prioritizing investments in education and human capital development. Through evidence based planning and policy formulation, we aim to address the structural barriers that hinder inclusive growth and promote social equity in the context of globalization.
DepEd shoulders the responsibility of ensuring equitable access to quality education for all Filipinos, irrespective of their socio-economic backgrounds. This involves formulating education policies that prioritize inclusivity and relevance, allocating resources efficiently to address disparities in educational access, and developing curricula that would cater to the diverse needs of learners. Additionally, DepEd is tasked with providing continuous professional development opportunities for teachers to enhance their skills and support students effectively. Through monitoring and evaluation mechanisms, DepEd assesses the implementation of education policies and programs, making necessary adjustments to address emerging challenges and ensure progress towards educational equity and excellence.
Serves as a research institution dedicated to generating evidence-based insights and policy recommendations to address education and poverty challenges in the Philippines. So, through rigorous research and analysis, the PAIDS re-examines the social impacts of globalization, education disparities, and poverty reduction strategies, providing valuable knowledge to inform policy-making processes. So the PAIDS contributes to capacity building efforts by providing training and technical assistance to policymakers. So as well as we have the researchers and stakeholders that is involved in education and poverty alleviation initiatives. So moreover, the PAIDS plays a crucial role in disseminating research finding through publication, seminars, and policy dialogues, fostering dialogues and knowledge exchange among the policymakers, academics, and practitioners to drive meaningful change in addressing education and poverty disparities.
I am so honored and thankful for your presence from the DepEd and PIDS for your presence here in our meeting in addressing this particular issue, which is the social inequality and poverty, that makes it more meaningful. Those strategies and solutions that you share from the previous questions that I asked, it made it clear and have a huge impact to work on an action. So, in addressing disparities in education and poverty, globalization requires collaborative efforts. So, from the DepEd, NEDA, and PIDS, each playing distinct yet complementary roles. DepEd focuses on ensuring equitable access to quality education. NEDA integrates education equity into broader economic policies. And PIDS generates evidence based insights to inform policymaking and drive inclusive growth. Together, these organizations can navigate the complexities of globalization and for a more equitable and prosperous future for all Filipinos. Again, this is Kristel Restauro, the representative of NADA, and I hope everything will be okay and God bless everyone.